Hello guys, today we are going to solve the problem, the exercise 7.5, determining mechanism amounts. There are given values and we have to fill the gaps. These are the formulas that we are going to use. Net sales is equal to the sum of cost of goods sold and gross profit, or sales revenue minus sales returns and allowances. That will give us amounts 284,000. Ending inventory for the 2024 is the beginning inventory of 2025. So that's going to be 32,000. For the amount of purchases, we are going to use formula of periodic system for the cost of goods sold. So first of all, we have to have the formula of net purchases that I'm writing right now. And then we are going to convert this formula into the purchases formula. To find the sales revenue of 2025 year, we can add net sales to the net returns. To find the ending inventory, we have to find cost of goods sold first. Cost of goods sold is the net sales minus gross profit. To find the ending inventory, we have to calculate net purchases first, which formula is purchases minus returns and allowances and plus freight-in. After we find net purchases, we can sum beginning inventory and net purchases and minus the cost of goods sold. Ending inventory of the year 2025 is the beginning inventory of the year 2026. To find the net sales, we have to sum up the cost of goods sold and net profit on the sales. So it's going to be 400,000. To find the sales returns and allowances, we have to bring sales revenue and minus the net sales. So the 10,000 are going to be sales returns. To find the ending inventory, again we are going to use net purchases. So we are going to minus from the purchases the returns and allowances and then sum the freight in. So we have our net purchase of 300,000 euros, and then we're going to sum it to the beginning inventory and then minus cost of goods sold. So that's going to be our ending inventory of the year 2026. We have filled all the gaps and let's move on to the next problem. Problem 7.8. Slatkin Incorporation has just started operations and recorded several purchases and issue of inventory during the January. We need to calculate the ending inventory at January 31st using the three valuation methods. First one is first in, first out. The second one is last in, first out, and the third one is average cost. So we also need to explain what happens if inventory costs are computed perpetually, means after each transaction, versus periodically at month's end. To compute the ending inventory, I made a table. First one for the FIFO. Under the FIFO, the first units purchased are the units sold. So ending inventory consists of the most recent purchases. Therefore, we're going to look at the table and have a look at the last purchase that was on January 28th. That was 1600 units at $3.50, and it will supply the remaining 1000 units. Following calculations will going to show that total cost for the FIFO is $3,500. LIFO, last in, first out. Under LIFO, the latest units purchased are sold first. Our ending inventory consists of the earliest purchases. Therefore, the ending inventory comes from the January 2nd purchase. Let's have a look at the unit cost at January 2nd. It's $3. So our total cost is going to be $3,000. Now let's move on to the weighted average cost. Under this method, an average unit cost is computed as the total cost of goods available divided by the total units available. So the total cost of goods available, we have 18,840 divided by the total units available, that is 5,700. So our total average cost per unit is going to be $3.31. For the ending inventory, we have to multiply this average cost per unit into 1000. So the total weighted average cost is going to be 3310. If the perpetual inventory system computes costs at the time of each withdrawal, we are going to have FIFO as the ending inventory is the same as in the part A. Why? Because the most recent purchases remain in stock at the period end, so it's going to remain 3,500. Last in, first out. The amount will differ because under perpetual LIFO cost layers change as withdrawals occur, and sometimes this cause partial liquidation of other layers. For the average cost, it will also differ because a new average cost would be computed each time a withdrawal was made instead of only once for all items. Let's walk the perpetual lever. Purchase pushes a new layer. Issue pulls from the newest layer until that layer is used up. If we need more units, then we can go to the next newest and so on. The balance is just the layers left after the issue. For the January 2nd, we bought 1,200 units at $3. That is going to amount $3,600. And then January 7th, we issued 7,700. So we're going to take newest, the $3 per layer, $3 layer. We are going to use 700 from 1,200 as $3, so the remaining is 500. 500 at $3 is amounting 1,500. For the January 10th, we have two layers. Top first is the 600 at $3.20, and then the second layer is 500 at $3. So we're going to sum them together, and we will have $3,420 amount. For the January 13th, we issued 500. So we're going to take from the newest, that's 3.20. We used 500, so that leaves us 100 at 3.20 and plus 500 at $3. So the total amount is going to be 1,820. For the January 18th, we bought 1000 at 3.30. That means our first layer is 1000 at 3.30 plus second layer 100 at 3.20 and the third layer 500 at $3. So the total amount for the buy is 4130. And also we in January 18th we have the issue of 300. So we're going to take from the newest 3.30. We already used 300, so that leaves us 700 at 3.30 plus 100 at 3.20 and the 500 at $3. So it's going to have a total amount of 4,130. January 20th spans multiple layers. We're going to use 700 at 3.30 at the exhaust layer, and we also need 400 more. So we're going to use 100 at 3.20 plus 300 at the $3. So the balance after is going to be 200 at $3. So the total amount is 600. The January 23rd, the records show us the buy of 1,300 units at 3.40. So the layer 1 is 1,300 at 3.40 and the second is 200 at 3. So this is going to sum and give us an amount of 5,020. For the January 26th, we have the issued 800 units. So we're going to take from the newest 3.40. We used 800, and that means that this leaves us 500 at 3.40 plus 200 at $3. So this gives us then amount $2,300. For the January 28th buy of 1,600, we have the first layer at $3.50 and the second layer 500 units at 3.40 and the third layer 200 at $3. That is going to give us total amount of 7,900. At January 31st, we see the issue of 1,300 units. We are going to take from the newest $3.50 and use 1,300 at 3.50. That means it leaves us 300 at 3.50 and plus 500 at 3.40 and 200 at 3. So the sum of these gives us the ending inventory of 3,350. So this shows us under LIFO during the months the available balance dropped below the ending inventory quantity so that the layers of older costs were partially liquidated during the months.